Hi students, once again I'm here to connect you all through online classes. In the previous video I have given you some amazing facts, and this video also I'm going to start my lesson with some amazing facts. Shall we start, students? So today's amazing facts are: how many cells our body is made up of? You know children, cells are the structural functional units of all living organism. The adult body is made up of 100 trillion cells. What an amazing fact, isn't it? So, an adult body is made up of 100 trillion cells. Okay, students. And the second one is, how many hair an adult human head has? The second amazing fact is, how many hair an adult human head has? You know, children, hair is the second fastest growing tissue in the body next to bone marrow. Okay, so how many hair an adult human body has? The average human head has about 100,000 to 150,000 hair on his head. So 100,000 to 150,000 hair is found on an average human head. The third amazing fact is, how many taste buds our tongue can have, or else how many taste buds our tongue is covered with. Okay, you know children, tongue helps in tasting different types of food items. So how many taste buds our tongue is covered with? Our tongue is covered with about 8,000 taste buds. What an amazing fact. 8,000 taste buds our tongue is covered with. And the last amazing fact for today is, how many times our heart beats in the average lifespan. So how many times our heart beats in the average lifespan? It's around 3 billion times. Our heart beats around 3 billion times in the average lifespan.
We shall learn about excretion or excretory process, which is the next part of life process. Before going to know what is the meaning of excretion, we shall learn about what is the importance of excretion. Excretion is one of the vital process or major metabolic process required for all the living organisms for their survival. During this metabolic process, biochemical reactions takes place, and these biochemical reactions results in the form of waste products, and the waste products have to be eliminated out from the body time to time, otherwise the body becomes toxic. Now we shall learn about what is the meaning of excretion. Excretion is the process by which the toxic waste products are removed from the body time to time. Yes, in excretion many toxic waste products are produced because of metabolic activities, and these have to be removed from the body time to time, and that process is called excretion. So what are the excretory organs related to excretion? The excretory organs related to excretion are kidneys, skin and organs. These kidneys, skin and lungs, these are the organs which are used to throw out the waste materials from the body, and this total collectively we call it as excretory system. So what are the excretory waste which are thrown out from the excretory organs? It is carbon dioxide, water, salts, urea and uric acid. So how is the excretion in lower organisms? In lower organisms like unicellular organisms like amoeba, euglena, paramecium, the wastes are thrown out through simple diffusion, through the surface of the skin by simple diffusion. So diffusion means the movement of materials from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, because they are unicellular organisms. So what about excretion in vertebrates? In vertebrates, the excretion takes place through excretory organs like lungs, kidneys and skin, and the waste products are carbon dioxide, water, salts, urea and uric acid. Now we can see what are the types of excretion. When you see types of excretion is based on the type of nitrogenous waste produced from the animals. We have three types of excretions, that is, and three types of organisms also. Ammonotelic animals, first group. Second one, ureotelic animals, and the third one is uricotelic organisms. So what happens in ammonotelic animals? In this, the nitrogenous waste product is ammonia. And as you all know, ammonia is a highly toxic substance which requires immediate elimination from the body. and this amino is easily soluble in water. Hence, all the aquatic animals produce amino as their nitrogenous waste, and it can be easily diffused into the surrounding water bodies. So, all the aquatic animals like fish, protozoans and crustaceans, echinoderms, tadpoles of frogs, these all are considered to be aminotelic animals. So, what is the waste of aminotelic animals? It is the amino. And the second group of animals are called ureotic animals. So, or urotelic animals we can call. So, urotelic animals are those organisms where the urea is the waste product produced from these organisms, and this is very less toxic when compared to ammonia, and this urea can be retained in the body for some time, and then it is soluble in water, and when it is soluble in water it forms a liquid, and that is called urine, and which can be eliminated out from the body. So, what are the organisms which undergo this type of excretion? They are the cartilaginous fish, then adult amphibians, and all the mammals undergo this type of excretion, where the waste product is urea, which is dissolved in water to produce urine, which is excreted out. And the next group of organisms are called uricotelic organisms. In these organisms, the waste is uric acid. In these organisms, the waste is uric acid, which is very less toxic when compared to ammonia and urea. And this is insoluble in water. This uric acid is insoluble in water, and hence it can be retained in the body for a longer time and eliminated in the form of semi-solid or solid crystals. It is eliminated out in the form of semi-solid or solid crystals from the organisms like reptiles, birds and insects.
Now we shall learn about excretion in plants. Even plants also undergo excretion, because plants also need to remove the waste materials produced in them time to time. We call them as excretory products. In plants the excretion is less complicated when compared to animals, because animals move from place to place and they need large amount of energy, and various metabolic activities are found in animals, but in plants very less metabolic activities, and we don't find in plants organs and organ system, but in plants only tissues are involved for undergoing biochemical reactions which release waste from the body. So, in plants, what are the structures which help in producing biochemical reactions? It is the tissues which undergo various biochemical reactions to release waste from the plant body. So, what about excretion in lower plants? In lower plants, the excretion is by simple diffusion, as we studied in animals. And what are the organs of excretion in plants? The organs of excretion in plants are leaves, stem, aging tissues, that means old tissues, xylem, roots, barks, fruits and flowers. These are the organs of excretion in which the plants use these structures to eliminate out the waste products from their body. So, how are the excretory products removed? Using these structures, how are the waste products eliminated out from the plant body? In plants, if the gases are formed like oxygen and carbon dioxide, those are expelled out with the help of the structures called stomata. We can see a stomata structure here. The stomata has got in the center pore called stomatal pore or stoma, and which are protected by guard cells, and guard cells surrounded by subsidiary cells. This stoma plays an important role during daytime. During daytime, when there is sufficient amount of sunlight or during photosynthesis, the stomatal pores open, and when there is photosynthetic activity, large amount of oxygen is expelled out. So, during photosynthesis, the byproduct or the waste product from the plant body is oxygen. Okay. So, that oxygen is expelled out through stomata, and when there is no sunlight, that is during night time, the stomatal pores will partially close, and during that time plants also undergo respiration like us, where the byproduct or the waste product is carbon dioxide. So, stomata helps in exchange of gases or removal of gases from the plant body during photosynthesis as well as respiration. And even plants use water for their for the photosynthetic activity. And when plants are preparing their own food, large amount of water is lost in the plant body. This process we call it as transpiration. The loss of water from the plant body is called transpiration. So this transpiration takes place in three different ways. One is stomatal transpiration, that is through leaves. If the water is lost through leaves, we call it as stomatal transpiration. If the water is lost through cuticle of the leaf, which is the protective member of the leaf, we call it protective layer of the leaf, we call it as cuticle. And when the water is lost through that cuticle, we call it as cuticular transpiration. And sometimes the water is even lost through stem, okay, through stem. So in the stem we find tiny openings, through that the water is lost, that is called lenticels, and we call it as lenticular transpiration. So loss of water from the plant body is called as transpiration, and transpiration is of three types: stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. And water is lost through the leaves, cuticle and stem. That is how plants get rid of unnecessary unwanted water from the plant body. And even some of the waste substances, we call them as dead cells, are also expelled out from the plant body by shedding of leaves and fruits and flowers time to time. And even resins and gums also are thrown out from the plant body from the old tissue, that is xylem tissue. This is how we can see excretion in plants. So in plants we find some particular structures for expelling out of the waste material. Basically stomata, which is used for exchange of gases or the removal of gaseous substances from the plant body, and water through transpiration, and dead cells, resins and gums through old tissue and by shedding of leaves, fruits and flowers.
We shall learn about human excretory system. Human excretory system plays a very important role in throwing out of the waste materials. For the excretion of waste materials in human body, kidneys play a very important role, or we call it as excretory system. So human excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, a bean-shaped pair of kidneys, and these kidneys will give rise to a pair of ducts. The ducts are called ureter, and ureter will continue to urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, once the fluid is passed on to the urinary bladder, to store and then expelled out through urethra. So this is the anatomy of human excretory system. But if you see, we can see two tubes arising. One is called renal artery, which enters into the kidneys for purification of the blood, and the other one is exit. One of the, we call it as renal vein. Renal vein exits, carries the pure blood, and renal artery carries the impure blood for the kidneys to purify. And we can see, if you can see the internal part of each kidney, in each kidney we have two parts: outer cortex, inner medullary region. Outer is called the cortex and inner is called medullary region or medullary substance. In the medullary substance you find many rays like such structures called medullary rays. These are called medullary rays. These medullary rays join to form pyramid like structures. We call them as renal columns or columns of Bertini. Renal columns or columns of Bertini, which helps to filter the blood and filtrate and pass the filtrate through the renal pelvis and then to the ureter and then to the urinary bladder. So once again I will explain the internal part of each kidney. So we have outer cortex, inner medullary region. In the medullary region we have rays called medullary rays, and then these medullary rays join to form a tuft of hair like structures, pyramid like structures. We call them a renal columns or columns of Bertini, and these will help in filtering the blood, and the filtrate is passed through the ureter and then to the urinary bladder and urethra. So this is about human excretory system. So what actually, when you know about human excretory system, the basic functioning is regarding to the kidneys. Kidneys play a very important role in filtering the waste materials from the blood. Now what is the function of kidneys? Kidneys help in excretion of waste products from the blood, and second one is they help in maintaining electrolytic balance in the blood. They help in maintaining electrolytic balance in the blood, that is concentration of the salts. And the third one is they help in maintaining acid base balance in the blood. And the fourth one is water balance in the blood, maintenance of water balance in the blood. These all are the functions of kidneys.
We shall learn the structure of nephron. As I told you, nephrons are the structural functional unit of kidneys, and I told you there are renal Bartini columns or Bartini columns or renal columns. In this we can see the structure of nephrons, and nephron is the structural functional unit of kidneys, where the excretion process, or we can say basically the formation of urine takes place. So we can see the structure of nephron here. So the first part of the nephron we call it as Bowman's capsule, and into this Bowman's capsule we can see the renal artery entering, and then after entering it branches out as efferent arteriole, and the entry of the renal artery into the Bowman's capsule is called efferent arteriole, and it branches out as efferent arteriole, which forms a network around the renal tubules. And we can see the down part is called Henle's loop. The first part of the nephron, that is the beginning after Bowman's capsule, the first part is called proximal convoluted tubule, the end part is called distal convoluted tubule, and we can see conducting duct or collecting duct we can say. So this is the structure of nephron. Once again, Bowman's capsule, there is entry of renal artery, that is efferent arteriole, and it branches out as efferent arteriole, that forms a network around the tube, and Henle's loop, and we can see the first part of it is called proximal convoluted tubule, the second one distal convoluted tubule, and collecting duct. Now we can see the steps involved in formation of urine. How nephrons help in formation of urine? The first step is called glomerular filtration. As I told you, this is Bowman's capsule. Once the renal artery enters into it, it forms a glomerulus, and the efferent arteriole which enters branches out as efferent, and this glomerulus in the Bowman's capsule together we call glomerular filtration. Here the blood gets filtered, and the filtrate is passed through the proximal convoluted tubule. Here we can see maximum amount of filtration takes place. Here the blood absorbs important waste substances from the waste substances which are found in the blood are absorbed by this in this part of the proximal convoluted tubule which has filtrate. So what are those? Is glucose, we find amino acid, hormones, vitamins, and most of the salts are absorbed here. Okay, and that's why we call this as selective reabsorption. So once again, what is glomerular filtration? When the blood enters with the high pressure into the Bowman's capsule, the blood gets filtered. This is called glomerular filtration. The second step, as the filtrate passes through the proximal convoluted tubule, maximum amount of salts are absorbed from the filtrate into the blood. That means the blood absorbs the important materials from the filtrate. This is called selective reabsorption, and then the filtrate is passed through the tubule and comes to Henle's loop, and then to the distal convoluted tubule. There you can see the tube adds some amount of nutrients to the blood. So what are those? Urea. So then we can see urea is added. Okay, so addition of urea and some other substances are added into the filtrate from the blood, and this is called as tubular secretion. The tube itself helps in secreting some of the substances from the blood that are added to the filtrate, and finally we can see the formation of urine. So these are the four steps. First is glomerular filtration, which takes place in the Bowman's capsule. Then in the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, we can say selective reabsorption, and then we can see after the Henle's loop, after coming the filtrate passes through the Henle's loop and comes to the DCT, distal convoluted tubule, we can see tubular secretion, and then the concentration of urine is passed through the collecting duct. So actually what does urine consist of? Urine consists of some of the waste products like urea, uric acid, keratin and many other materials, waste substances which are not required to the body, that is called urine. And when you see urine, the color of the urine is due to the presence of pigment called urochrome. What is the pigment found in the urine? It is because of the urochrome, which is the breakdown of hemoglobin. You have to remember it, with hemoglobin breakdowns and forms a pigment that is called urochrome, which is added to the urine. And urine is a light yellow color, or we can say hay colored fluid with some characteristic odor, some ammonia, because it's urea, so some amount of urine. I told you, no, ureotelic organisms, the waste product is urea. So that some kind of odor we find with the waste substances, some amount of salts, like I already told you what are those salts, like now we shall learn about disorders associated with kidneys. So what are the kidney disorders and what are the disorders related to excretory system? Here we can see kidney stones, which is one of the common disorder because of lack of water. When we don't drink sufficient amount of water, the salts get accumulated in the glomerular and forms stones, and that disorder we call it as kidney stones or renal calculi. Okay, and the next disorder is kidney failure. If any part of the nephron, that is absorption or secretion or filtration, any part of the nephron or any part of the excretory process is not functioning properly or is infected, then it leads to kidney failure. If to know the fact, actually we have a pair of kidneys. If one kidney is not functioning, we can survive with the other kidney, but if both the kidneys are not functioning, then we have to go for artificial kidney or hemodialysis. So hemodialysis is one of the process to purify the blood in removing the waste materials and again send back to the blood. So it's an artificial this one kidney, which acts like a artificial kidney and helps in purifying the or filtering, and helps in filtering the blood. In this hemodialysis, we can see the blood is removed and filtered and then returned back to the body with the help of dialyzing machine. In the hemodialysis, the blood is removed, filtered and returned back to the body with the help of dialyzing machine. We can see here, this is a dialyzing machine which acts like an artificial kidney. From the hand or a leg, the artery, okay, one of the artery is through the artery the blood is sucked out, and with the arterial pressure the blood is made to flow, and when it comes to one stage there, heparin is added to the blood, because heparin is one of the protein which helps to keep the blood watery. It will not allow the blood to clot. We can see this chemical in the leeches. Leeches use this heparin chemical in order to suck the blood from the host body. So that heparin they use here in order to prevent clotting of blood and easy flow of the blood. So as the blood flows, we can see here there is an instrument where all the waste and I told you toxic substance or unwanted salts, all those are absorbed in this dialyzer, and then the blood is filtered and then again passed through the tube where it is passed through air detector to see if any air bubbles are present. Then it is passed through the vein and sent back to the body. So that is how the hemodialysis function takes place. It acts like an artificial kidney. Okay students, I hope you have understood the whole lesson, that is excretion, and that is the end of the lesson. And I have some questions for you. I want every one of you to copy these questions and prepare a notes based on the videos what I have given. The first question is, now what is excretion? Types of excretion. What is excretion? Types of excretion. And then second question, what are the excretory waste and the structures found in the plant body? What are the excretory waste and the structures found in the plant body? Third one, draw neat label diagram of nephron, which is very important for exam. Draw neat label diagram to show the structure of nephron. And the fourth one, steps involved. What are the steps involved in urine formation? Steps involved in urine formation. And the last question is, explain the process of dialysis or explain the process of hemodialysis. Okay students, thank you.